Hello, what's up, people? Welcome to Let's Be Honest, where your hosts Derek and Corey talk all the way from the NBA to the NFL to WWE. All the interesting and juicy details is right here. And let's be honest, we know you love hearing it.
Another week, another show. Welcome, guys, ladies, gentlemen, kids of all ages. Another week of Let's Be Honest. I'm, of course, as the announcer guy said, I'm, of course, Derek. You got my co-host, Corey.
Oh, yeah.
And our producer, Tamia.
Hello.
Another week of Let's Be Honest. This past week has been different. It has been rough. It's been kind of crazy. If you look at everything that's happened in the past week, let's see. We got a fight in the airport. We have somebody getting fired from WWE. We got people getting suspended. We got people winning titles. We got people crashing ambulances into walls, and we got
ambulance crashed itself.
And we of course you would say that, and we have Kurt Angle that's in love with somebody. So a lot has happened over this past week. So let's go ahead and start it off. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Corey with his wrestling history.
Well, getting off of Great Balls of Fire, the monster, the beast himself, Brock Lesnar's birthday is actually today. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you say he was 40 years old. That's the shape he is. And also another thing is about on the 11th, Brock Lesnar actually won his first, I can't remember if it's first, but UFC Heavyweight Championship. That was back on the 11th. Now, that time, I didn't recall seeing that fight, though I do remember the coverage of that, and it was pretty significant. Brock Lesnar in his first UFC Heavyweight Championship, and his birthday was actually today.
So you're saying he won his title around his birthday? So that was kind of like
pretty
his
much.
Birthday present?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a heck of a birthday gift, I guess. I wish I could get a title for my birthday. No?
Tell me about it.
I tried. All right, thanks.
Have a title.
Appreciate Corey for that. I do have a title. Before we go over to Tamia, she kind of goes over the social media deal. I want to say that next week, if you follow us on the Facebook, we'll be actually going on Facebook Live we're actually going to be at SmackDown next week. SmackDown's going to be in our town near us, or our town. And we're going to be live there.
Alabama. It's going to be in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah, it's going to be in Birmingham, and we are going to be there. So we're going to go Facebook Live. I don't know the time yet. I don't know exactly when we'll do Facebook Live, but I know we will be doing Facebook Live. So if you follow us on Facebook, Tamia will give you the Facebook address. If you follow us there, you will see live and in person. Obviously, we won't be Facebook Live during the show, but we will be there. We'll be posting pictures via Twitter, via Instagram, via Facebook, kind of showing you, because if I'm not mistaken, the Punjabi prison is supposed to be there next week.
Oh my God! Yeah,
so that's
it does. I'm glad you mentioned that too.
As Corey fangirls. So that's going to be there. So we'll be taking pictures, kind of posting them up. That should be interesting. I'm really looking forward to it. We always kind of go, this is our first time carrying the show with us. So I'm looking forward to that. So
I'm so excited.
With that being said, I don't think we can do that on the air. With that being said, I'll pitch it to Tamia. She'll give you those social media websites, and after that we'll get on with the show.
Well, hey, y'all. Well, you can follow us on Podomatic. Well, not just follow us, but listen to our podcast on Podomatic at Let's Be Honest 01.podomatic.com. You can follow us on Twitter at Let's Be Honest 89, Facebook Let's Be Honest 01, Instagram, which we will be live streaming from as well, at let's_be_honest_podcast. You can also search us on YouTube. We have a couple of videos on there. Just do a search for Let's Be Honest with Derek and Corey. We also have our podcast on iTunes and Google. Again, just do a search for Let's Be Honest with Derek and Corey. And on whatever social media y'all follow us on, just give us a shout out, say hey, let us know that you're there.
The standard like and review, right?
Yeah.
That's key. That's important to like and review. It's important that we kind of get that feedback to kind of figure out what we need to fix, what we need to do differently, or if we're doing a good job as is. So like and review on any of those platforms. Also carrying on from the conversation we just had just then. If you want to be a part of the show, therefore, if you want to ask questions or you have suggestions, you can always feel free to comment on any of our social media websites, podcasting websites. Feel free to leave comments, suggestions, questions, whatever you want to do. Feel free. We'll take criticism. We'll take anything really. So feel free to leave those there, right, Smith?
That's right.
It is, like I said, it's been a rough week. Fun week. It depends on who you are and how you look at it. So if we start back Friday, Corey, Austin Aries got released Friday. Man, what do you think about that?
Man, I'm kind of disappointed because I was really expecting Austin Aries to move up to the main roster and maybe move up into a title picture pretty soon. And it's kind of unfortunate he got released because I thought he was pretty talented. He was a very good wrestler. He had some pretty good matches, especially with Neville. I could kind of see where he was coming from. There's all kinds of stories about it. I'm disappointed to hear that.
I actually am too, because I was actually excited about Austin Aries being there. I will say that it got a little weird every time he went for the title, but he never got it. Not to say it's different from everybody else that goes for the Cruiserweight title, but I don't know. It seemed kind of weird that he kept losing, and yet they kept putting me match after match after match after match. So I think what stories say is that he was upset because the WrestleMania DVD was released, or is going to be released anyway, and the match he had with Neville on the pre-show got cut from the DVD.
That's pretty terrible, because that was a really good match right there, and they should at least include it on the DVD. I don't understand why it got cut.
And we all kind of watched it together, and we all agreed it was a pretty good match. So, and we all kind of agreed that it shouldn't have even been on the pre-show. I mean, we could have easily pointed out 2 or 3 matches that, I mean, WrestleMania was a great show, but we easily could have pointed out 2 or 3 matches that, that should have been on the pre-show. But so why was it cut? I don't know. It's not like those DVDs, they last forever anyway. So, I mean, 3 disc set. I mean, come on. It was like a 15-minute match, if that. So, don't quite know why that happened. But anyway, so he was a little upset about it. He had some backstage problems, and thus result in his release on Friday. that one kind of hit pretty heavy. Then the following day, on Saturday in New York City, Madison Square Garden, AJ Styles wins the United States Championship. I'm not going to say that I'm disappointed, because I'm not. I'm happy about it. Kind of out of the blue here. What do you think about that, Corey?
I'm happy. It's only meaning that the United States Championship is actually getting some recognition, because beforehand, when Cena had it, it was really good. Him doing the open challenges, and then it just started falling to the wayside again. Then Chris Jericho picks it up. It starts getting a little bit elevated. So I'm really excited to see AJ Styles with that title, and hopefully, they continue to make it a prominent title from here on out.
Actually, when Chris Jericho had it, he kind of, I don't even think Jericho defended it, but like one time probably, right?
Was it really one time?
It seemed like it was like 1 or 2. So, I mean, not to discredit what he did, but I mean, he only defended it a couple times, so take that as it may. But anyway, but yeah, so he wins the title out of the blue, Madison Square Garden. Great place to win a title. Madison Square Garden has a lot of history with wrestling in particular. So it's kind of cool that he won that title in that place. I'm going to say this. I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I like the unpredictability. I like the fact that we weren't expecting it, and it just came out of the blue, and he wins. So what? And I've heard this time and time again, but apparently it's true to the point where if there's a dark show, chances are you probably need to go, right?
Yeah.
And to me, you and I have had this conversation before, because I've personally said, I don't know if there was a dark show that came, and I said I don't know if I want to go see that. I think it was January, and I said I don't think I want to go see that, because it's a dark show, nothing's going to happen. And this is proof that you should go.
A lot actually
Yeah,
happens.
because I was reading some stuff about the dark shows, and they say they usually they have a little bit more freedom on the dark shows than they do on the main televised shows. So you see a lot of things you normally won't see.
So I guess I'll take that. I guess I find myself being wrong with that. But anyway, so AJ Styles wins the title. So I'm assuming that Battleground is going to be a rematch, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping was going to happen, or at least that's what I was thinking was going to happen.
It wasn't quite set in the stone on SmackDown, so maybe next week they'll make that match official. I don't know. I will go ahead.
Because he is, I think he is entitled to a rematch. Of course, WWE, they have sort of thrown the rematch calls thing out the door in the past, but
kind of funny about that, because I think last 2 years ago, the year that Daniel Bryan got injured, I think that year was the year. Those 2 years was the year of you not getting title rematches. I mean, Batista never got his rematch. Bryan never got his rematch. Orton, Cena. I mean, a lot of people in that 2 years never got a rematch. So like you said, WWE's bad at not giving their rematches, but I guess be that as it may. But so I really think I'm really hoping that this doesn't become a situation where he has a title and then he gives it, and then he winds up being a transitional champion. Prime example, Bray Wyatt wins the title at Elimination Chamber and turns around and loses it at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I'm still irritated about that.
So,
but I have a feeling they won't pull that on AJ Styles, because AJ Styles is still red hot right now. I don't think they'll do that to AJ Styles, in my opinion. But this is WWE we're talking about.
I hope that they don't. I hope that they don't. I hope he keeps the title for a long time, and
Oh yeah.
I hope that he manages to. I hope that he manages to elevate that title to back to what it was. No disrespect to the people who had it after Cena had it, uh, last year or 2 years ago, whenever that was.
Yeah.
No disrespect to them, but I think AJ is going to be that person to get that title back up, like you said. So I'm looking forward to the future of AJ with the title. I will say this: the statement, the statement that says if you are in TNA and you go back to WWE, if you're in TNA and you go to WWE, the statement that says that they will not utilize you to the fullest has been broken by Samoa Joe and AJ Styles.
Oh yeah, I think they realize, how popular AJ Styles is, and plus, let's be honest, show plug there. His merchandise, his merchandise sales have been like really up there because the last time we tried to find those the gloves and they were out of stock of them. And then my goodness, I cannot think of a time when AJ Styles shirts go on sale on the eShop other than just recently.
Yeah, I think they're on sale now. Actually, I think I was on the website a little early. I think they're on sale now. But so that has been broken by Samoa Joe and AJ Styles, like I said.
Oh yeah.
So
Samoa Joe as well.
so like I said, the question is how long. And then this is going to be probably a long-lasting question. And I'll pose this question to you, the fans, or you, the listeners. And you can take this moment to comment, and, comment on the social media websites that Tamir gave you. So you can use this moment. So the question is, how long do you think AJ will hold the title? How long do you think the United States champion will stay the champion? Be that, if you kind of look at it, Kevin Owens is there, John Cena is there, and Rusev is there. I kind of see everybody else doing their own thing. So if you look at those four people, and let me throw in another one, you got Gable. Gable's kind of free right now.
Oh yeah.
I'll throw in another actually. Ty Dillinger is free right now. So you got six people who are just free, who are waiting for a championship opportunity. So, interested in seeing how that goes. After that, Saturday, we fall over to Sunday. We fall over to Sunday's pay-per-view, which is Great Balls of Fire. Was a pretty good show. Actually, it was a really good show. To me, what did you think about that show?
It was pretty good.
I thought it was a pretty good show myself. Corey, did you actually watch it, or were you busy doing
I
it?
watched it. It was really good. I loved it.
It was a really good show from start to finish. It was pretty good. To pick out the things that I actually liked, and then I'll go to the things I disliked. And there's really not many that I disliked. We'll go from bottom to top of the card here. You had that match. You had that match with the Hardy Boys. Mm-hmm. The Hardy Boys versus I can't speak English. Apparently, the Hardy Boys versus Sheamus and Cesaro. What do you think about that, Corey?
That was a really good match. It was very good. I thought the ending was funny when Jeff Hardy realized, Cesaro's got another fall, and then he tries to chase him out the ring, and then he tries to roll him up. It was a very good match. I enjoyed every minute of it, even though I'm excited Sheamus and Cesaro pulled through and won that Iron Man match, and I would agree with the announcers. That's probably one of the best ones so far.
I think that the awkwardest moment for me probably is that moment where Matt cut his face kind of by his eye. That's kind of like that same injury that not Noble, but the other one. Who's the other guy? Alpha J&J Security.
Oh, you talking about Joey Mercury?
Yeah, Joey Mercury. You remember he had that injury. He had that eye injury from a ladder. So Matt had that. I don't remember how he got that injury though. Did you see that, Samir?
No.
Wait, I don't remember how he got that that injury close to his eye, but
Nope. I don't remember.
if I don't remember the number of staples, but I also don't remember how he got that injury. But it was pretty close to his eye.
I just remember watching the match and then I saw
It
him
happened so
starting to
fast.
bleed. I was like, when did that happen?
It happened so fast.
The match was pretty intense, though. It was a pretty good match.
Yeah.
Like Corey said, it was probably one of the best tag team matches we've seen in a while. That involved, Sheamus and Cesaro, because usually the matches that they're in as a tag team, it's not really, in my opinion, not really that good. So I think the Hardy Boys kind of bring out the best in them. When you kind of look down that card, the next match would be actually the first match of the night was actually Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt. What'd y'all think of that?
I liked it. It was a pretty good back and forth match, and I'm glad Bray Wyatt won, and that's because, in my opinion, I think he needs it more than Seth Rollins did.
Most people would almost ask the question, why was that match first?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it was probably just, to set the mood, because I don't think they would have put the ambulance match first, and of course they wouldn't have put Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar first. I think it was mostly, to set the mood, to get everybody pumped and excited for, which, in my opinion, it kind of did. Well, at least it did for me.
If you really look at it, I would probably have put the Intercontinental title match first, just because of the fact of how the match was. It wasn't really that good. It was a good match, but it wasn't particularly really, really good. But with that being said, maybe the Intercontinental title match was perfectly placed because you wanted that rest period. It's kind of a iffy situation there. But regardless of where it was placed, it really in our decision. But regardless of where it was placed, it was a really good match. I liked it from top to bottom, from beginning to the end of that match. It was a really good match. Next match on the docket was and these are in no particular order, but the next match is Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss. To me, I know you watched that match in full. What did you think about that one?
Did I watch it in full?
I know. Corey, did you see that match?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know. I was kind of occupied at the moment. Was kind of busy doing a couple other things on Twitter. And what did you think about that match, Corey?
It was good up until the ending. I think the ending. Well, I mean, the ending is sort of fits Alexa. I can't speak in Alexa Bliss's character, but I kind of was expecting it to go a little bit more, because I want Alexa. If Alexa Bliss wins that match, I want her to win the right way, not the that way. It was a good match, and I did enjoy most parts of it. But
so
just the ending.
I'm confused here. You want her to win? How now? How do you want her to win?
I kind of want her to win, by like pinfall or submission, not the way she did it during that match.
A count out.
Yeah, she won it by a count out.
I mean, if you. To me, it does two or three things here. It solidifies that she is a heel, so she's going to win the title. She's going to win the title how she can, but I think you're right there. Actually, now that I think about it, because over the last couple of months, she's actually won a lot of her matches out of the ring. So I don't really see what we're shooting for here. I'm hoping there's a point because if you remember, she had a match with I think she had a match with Nia Jax on Raw a couple weeks ago where she won by countout. So not quite sure what's going on there, but I hope that has a conclusion. But that match ends in a successful defense of that title. The second to last match, and I'm sure Corey would find this interesting or not interesting, depends on how you look at it. But the second to last match is Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman in a ambulance match.
Yeah, I watched that match. Yeah,
Yep.
match.
Braun Strowman, won the fight, but Roman Reigns won the war.
I'm going to pick out a couple of
Yeah.
different things that I liked about this match, and then you two can kind of step in at any point. The parts that I liked in this match is it kind of showed the strength of Braun Strowman, like the time where Roman hit him in the arm with the chair. He hit him in the arm 3 times, and Braun's like,
Hit me again, son of a bitch.
yeah, he's like,
he like shoved it off.
yeah, he's like, hit me again. And I like that point where Roman kind of backs off because he starts to second guess what he's doing. So I kind of like that because it shows the strength of him. I also like the fact that they didn't overdo it. It wasn't too much, but it was enough. What do I mean by overdo it? I mean that there wasn't a lot of, for instance, Roman didn't do a spear through the barrier wall, because if you look at all of his matches, he does these awkward looking spears through the barrier walls.
I was looking at some of the earlier spears to barricade, particularly the ones doing the Shield. And I still remember that spear he gave Kane through the barricade. Now, that spear looked like it legitimately hurt the way Roman runs, and then he just spears a completely big barricade. That's not for how fast, but he's just like, dang, this is Roman Reigns like running completely into him and knocking the air out of him. It looked like it really hurt.
Well, besides the point, yes, it may hurt, but besides the point, he didn't do it Sunday. Thank God he didn't do it because I'm sick of seeing it. So anyway, he didn't do that. There was just enough intensity in the match for me to stay interested. It wasn't too long, it wasn't too short, it was just the right time for me. There was a point where I did actually believe Roman was going to win. That point where he had Braun and he seemingly speared him into the ambulance. That was the point where I actually thought he was going to win. So it really had me believing that it was going to happen. It ultimately the match, as far as the match goes, it ultimately led to Braun putting Roman. Yes, it ultimately led into Braun putting Roman in the ambulance and winning the match.
Yes.
So that was the best part for me because that happened. Now, of course, Corey cried about it. He was upset, but I'm sorry, Corey, that actually happened.
But, just giving Roman's promo for Raw, who was on Raw and who wasn't on Raw again?
Now, there was something that happened at the end that was kind of rough, and it kind of had me a little nervous, but we're going to talk about that part after the break. We're going to go ahead and go to break. We're going to talk about what happened. We're going to talk about the conclusion of the match ended there, but we're going to talk about what happened after the match. Also, we're going to catch up and kind of talk about that match between Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar. Also, we're going to talk about Kurt Angle's love feud We're going to talk about some things that happened on Raw, some things that happened on SmackDown, and some other news that's kind of floating around the wrestling business as far as Paige and Alberto Del Rio. We'll pick up on that and more right after this commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. Sitting here talking to me and Corey about the social media team that we have. Obviously, you know that we have a huge social media team, right, Tamia?
Oh, yeah.
Tamia's in charge of it. And that's how we're able to kind of get so much content on social media, right?
Yep.
So, like I said earlier in the show, you make sure you get in there and you comment and you like and so on and so forth. Corey's over there talking to herself during my second monologue. So thanks, Corey. Anyway.
Don't forget to follow us, you guys, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Don't forget to even try to listen to us on iTunes and Google. And watch our videos on YouTube.
If you're going to listen to us on iTunes and Google, make sure you like and subscribe. Or make sure you at least like and then comment. Kind of give us some reviews. Let us know what's going on, how we're doing. This podcast is free. We try to give you as much content as possible. We pack it into however long this show is. So, just don't be afraid to do that. Anything else I'm missing out there, Tamia? I know you and the social media team, y'all really do a lot.
Yeah, we do.
And like we were saying during the break there, Corey's involved. You can catch Corey on the Instagram or the IG or whatever they call it. You can catch Corey over there. He's involved in that, right?
Yep, that's right.
So you can rarely catch Corey over there. Anyway.
Catch him outside. How about that?
Anyway, we were kind of ignored you, Tamia. We were,
because if you did, you wouldn't have responded to it. But anyway.
Let's not bring the show down. Anyway.
That's you.
We kind of ended that first segment talking about what happened after the match where Roman Reigns got upset and started to throw a hissy fit. So, Corey, you want to explain what happened? You want to explain what happened, Corey? I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
I'm sure this is your favorite part.
Yeah, basically, Roman Reigns bust out the ambulance. Through Braun to the ambulance, and of course, unfortunately,
I wouldn't say he bust out the ambulance. It seemed as if he just walked out like oh my God. You could see the fear in his eyes. He was like, oh goodness, should I do this? So go ahead.
Yeah, the fear in Braun Strowman's eyes, like, oh gosh, Roman Reigns is back. I don't know what to do. Of course, Roman Reigns, being the unstoppable beast that he is, he sends Braun Strowman back into the ambulance, and like I was saying earlier, the ambulance lost control and crashed into another truck. And it's totally not Roman's fault, by the way.
I don't think, but he was driving it, wasn't he?
I think Corey was too busy.
It was driving, but the control, the ambulance, lost control.
I think Corey was too busy on Instagram at this point because he clearly didn't see what happened. He clearly didn't see the fact that Roman backed that truck up into a wall.
Although it was to pay Braun Strowman back for what he did to Roman Reigns earlier.
I don't believe that. But anyway, That I will say it got interesting when he did that, but kind of it kind of made you feel bad.
For
So at
Braun.
that point, for a little bit of a second there, you felt bad for Braun, and you actually forgot who was the heel and who was the babyface. You actually forgot. You felt bad for Braun, and you were wondering what the hell was wrong with Roman, right? I mean, even for a moment there, Kurt Angle didn't even know what to do.
I was just more amazed that Braun was just like getting out. It's like, leave me alone. And then he was able to get up and walk away. I mean, still, you could clearly see he was injured and he was limping. But the fact is, he was able to like get up and walk away.
He's like the wounded animal that running away after a animal fight, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like just limping off, leave me alone, and running back into the woods.
It reminded me of like the Incredible Hulk limping off into his cave. It just reminded me of that.
Just.
I'm sure it reminded other people of that too. I thought about Incredible Hulk, but anyway, yeah. Continue.
Thanks for that. Did you just end that with Tamia?
Continue.
We're just gonna do that. So every time that you insert something, just end it with Tamia.
I said continue.
But anyway, okay, that was a Tamia fact. So, like I said, that part was kind of weird. My question is, where are they getting these ambulances from? I mean, how many ambulances have we ran through within the past 5 years? I mean, are they buying these things? Are we keeping them in a corner somewhere? Are they at the WWE warehouse? What's happening? Which Seth Rollins burned down, by the way.
Well, he burned the warehouse down?
He burned the warehouse down, but we'll get into that in a second. But not in real life, jeez.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean,
yeah, sure you did. So the question is here: does this cause Roman to be a babyface, or does this cause him to be a heel? We still don't know. He's still in a gray area, but the question is, where is he? Is he more towards one or more towards the other?
I would say he's more of the anti-heel, anti-hero. Because, he's not really a clean-cut babyface, but then again, he's not really I would say he's more like a heelish babyface, if that's a word.
The way I kind of no, it's not a word. The way I kind of see things here,
a heelish babyface.
The way I kind of see things here is you can either be a heavy heel, like at this point Kevin Owens or Samoa Joe. You can be a heavy heel, or you can be a big baby face like
AJ Styles?
Like AJ Styles. Yeah, thank you, Corey. Like AJ Styles. So you can be on one side, or you can be on the other, or you can be directly in the middle like John Cena. Now, to say that Roman is directly in the middle with John Cena would be a stretch. I don't think he's there. Could he get there? I don't know. But he's not exactly John Cena midline. So
I was going to say, what about Randy Orton? Because I know he technically is a baby face, but no, this is Orton we're talking about. That's why I kind of compare, Roman Reigns to him, because, Orton has always been this guy who, he's got that mean streak. But then, lately, of course, he's been getting cheered. So, technically, I guess you could say babyface, but like I was saying, this is Randy Orton we're talking about.
I don't know the answer to that question. Really, I think Randy Orton is midline too, but he's not exactly John Cena like midline either. So I don't really know how to answer that question. I think right now we are in an era where I think a couple years ago where Triple H proclaimed it the reality era.
Yeah.
I think we're at a point where it doesn't matter. I think we're at a point, and it's not good either. I think we're at a point where it doesn't matter whether you're a heel or a baby face. But the thing is, that's how you get reactions, right? So I think we need to find I think we need to find a point where we can get back heels and baby faces, but at the same time, you have those hardcore wrestling fans versus the internet wrestling fans, the IWC as they're called, and you have hardcore versus the internet people and the Twitter warriors, and you kind of have them against each other, and the internet wrestling fans will cheer the person who's the heel. They will cheer it because either they want to, because they want to go against the system, or just because they know them from somewhere else. So, with that being said, how do you get back to where you need to be? How do you get back to having wrestling where it needs to be so it can be watchable? How do you get back into that place? Is it possible? And I've asked this question time and time and time again. Is it possible that wrestling can go back to being what it used to be, where you believed that somebody was a bad guy, where you really believed that he was a good guy, where you could cheer and boo one person, or you could cheer one person and boo one person and not be in between?
I think, like taking Alexa Bliss for an example, whenever she's doing her promos, the crowd will shout something to her, and then she'll retaliate against them, and then, of course, they'll start booing her. I think, stuff like that, like, when they were like, we can't hear you, it's like, I know you can hear me, shut up and listen, they all just boo her, or they'll sit there and say, what to her, but then she'll turn around against her, be like, say what if you think Alexa Bliss, or if you think Alexa Bliss is the greatest, and then they'd be like, what? And then like, that's what I thought. It's like rules actually like that. I think using like when they interact with the crowd and stuff, and then they start turning their chants against them. That's when they like. I guess you could say clear cut. I'm heel, clear cut babyface.
And great point, and that kind of reminds me of Stephanie too, because Stephanie is the example, and probably at this point the best heel, she is the most hated heel in WWE that I can think of. Yeah, I think she is the most hated one, Stephanie, because you just want to not like her, right? So there's no reason for you to cheer her. And I think it's the same thing for Jinder Mahal, but it's kind of backwards, or not really backwards, but it's kind of awkward because we're booing Jinder Mahal because of nothing that has to do with wrestling. Whether it's a steroid thing, or whether it's just you don't like him, or whether you think he needs to be mid-card, whatever it is, they're booing him for the wrong reason. And I'll hate to say it, but it's the same thing for Roman Reigns. I will say that. It's the same thing for Roman Reigns. You boo him because, and it hurts to say this, but you boo him because of the wrong reasons. So he's one of those people where it's, he's not clear cut, but he's one of those people where it's somewhere, he's either good or bad. He's not really in the middle. So how do you place him? I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. The closer we get to SummerSlam, I think we'll kind of figure that part out. Any thoughts on that, Corey?
Well, I was just thinking about Roman Reigns' promo back when he beat the Undertaker and claimed his yard. Now, he just stood in the ring, the entire audience was booing him for literally like 10 minutes. And Roman Reigns, every time he brings the mic up to his mouth, they start booing around. And he's just sitting there laughing and smiling and stuff. I'm like, I don't even have to say anything. You guys just get booing, and then he was like, all he had to say was, this is my yard now. I dropped the mic, and then the whole arena erupted in booze.
But the thing is, that wasn't an actual, That was a result of the Undertaker losing. So therefore, that was the reason. But then if you look at the next week, they half cheered him and half booed him because they damn near forgot about what happened to the Undertaker. So it's really a hard thing to kind of look at, you know.
It's like I can see what you're I see where you're getting. It was also reminds me of something one of my friends was telling me back when we had our little wrestling discussions during lunch breaks and breaks. He's telling me like the worst thing a wrestler or a person can get is no reaction. He's like, even though like he named John Cena for example, even though John Cena would get like a mix of boos and cheers, John Cena's still getting a reaction. The arenas like erupting whenever he comes out. You know, there's still a reaction. He's like, in comparison to somebody who comes out and gets no reaction, and of course that's going to be a pretty bad thing because it means the audience doesn't really care for that person.
No, I agree. I agree. So I'll let you have that one. The next to kind of catch up and get ready to wrap up here. The next match is going to be actually it was the Brock Lesnar versus Samoa Joe match. As I said on my video, my first video of the week, and actually I'm getting ready to record the second one of the week. But as I said on that first video, that was an intense match. That match really brought intensity. Although you didn't really know who to cheer, who to boo, that was a big match. I kind of posed this question, though, on the video, and I'll pose it to you, and I'll allow you to answer. The question was that match a dream match? Because some people say that, you know, they would love to see the Samoa Joe versus the Brock Lesnar. So it has actually happened now. That was a dream match for some people. But was it the match that you can point and say, that was my dream match, it lived up to my expectation?
Good question. Like me personally, I would say I wanted to see Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar, but it was sure like dream match and living up to my expectations. Ooh, it's kind of a tough one.
So I'm gonna let you think about it for a second, because and I'm going to kind of give you my opinion here. Okay, is that cool?
Oh yeah, sure.
So here's what I think. It was a good match, and nothing I'm about to say is going to deny that. It was a good match. To me, did you think that match was a good match?
Yeah, it was a real good match.
It was a really, really good match. Some people's mind, it was a dream match. So, was it the match that you were expecting? To me, in my opinion, it was, but I would not warrant that as a dream match. So when I think of dream matches, and this is my opinion, and this is another point where you can comment your suggestions or comments on the social media or the podcast websites. You can tell me how you feel about it. This is a dream match to me is a match kind of like Cena versus Rock, where that match lasted probably 15, 20, maybe even 25 minutes. That is the dream match. That's a match where it drains everything out of you, and you have no more cheers or no more boos or no more screams or anything. That's my version of a dream match. That match Sunday night, it was a good match, but it was one of those matches where it was like, it was rough, it was tough, it was in your face, and it was quick, fast, and that's the end of it. Granted, it wasn't as long as that Goldberg match, which was I don't know what that Goldberg match was, but it It wasn't a dream match. It was a good match, but it wasn't a dream match for me. That's just honestly how I feel.
Yeah, I can agree. It was a good match or so, but I kind of would say that would be a dream match. I was like you saying, it was a very good match. Now, honestly, I wasn't expecting Joe to get that much offense in by Lesnar, but he really took it to him. But like you said, I kind of wouldn't say it was a dream match. For me, like you saying, a dream match would be like Cena versus Rock or Sting versus Undertaker, or even, and dare I say, AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels. To me, those will be like dream matches.
Because those are the matches that kind of bring everything out of you that that you feel drained about it because they're just so intense, like the John Cena, like the first John Cena versus Rock match, or like both of the Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker matches. Those were dream matches. Those are dreams matches that really gave you chills. This match, it was a good match, and please don't. I'm not trying to say that it wasn't. It was a good match. I just don't feel like it was the dream match that everybody wanted, dream match that everybody expected. Now, with that being said, it did when that match was signed, and when Raw happened. Actually, the whole build to this match killed the pay-per-view name. It in a good way. It made you forget that the pay-per-view had a stupid ass name. It actually made you forget about it because you focused so much on that match that you barely thought about I'm watching Great Balls of Fire. What you paid attention to was the fact that match was going on. That match happened. That was an awesome match. You didn't really think about the name. Like, at any point during that match, Corey, did you think, damn, this pay-per-view, the name of it is just so stupid?
Yeah, at that point, I wasn't even thinking of the name. The name just completely evaporated out of my thoughts.
So maybe this is one of those things where they kind of, they just named it that just out of the blue, just so they could make you look at the matches and not the show itself. Granted, now, unfortunately, they kept saying on Raw that this is the inaugural Great Balls of Fire, which means that down the road there's going to be more Great Balls of Fire. I'm dreading that much. But anyway, so when you look at the show as a whole, Corey, what did you think?
Overall, as a whole, I really enjoyed it. It was a very good show. Now, compared to the last pay-per-view I watched was Money in the Bank, which I was kind of disappointed in. I would say this was a pretty good match. I mean, not match, but this was It was a pretty good show, especially for Raw. It was very good. I would say even A+.
So, maybe what did you think about the show if you were to give it a grade?
Give it an A.
I'd give it a. Sorry, I was trying to figure out what Cookie Monster was on my TV screen. I'll give it a. I'll give it an A+ even, because it was a great show compared to the shows that they've given us as far as Raw. Compared to the shows that Raw gave us, this show was probably the best since the draft, or since the draft. So this was the best one. This set the tone. So I'm hoping that everything going forward is going to build off of this. One match I didn't talk about, and there's a reason why, is the whole end zone cast match.
Yeah, I was just about to ask. I think we forgot about that. I think I can see why too.
Yeah, there was a reason. That match, I wasn't looking forward to, and I said this on last week's show. I was not looking forward to that match. It did nothing for me. That match should have been on the pre-show.
Yeah, it should have.
Because that was just not a good match. Now, I mean, at this point, I think that the Heath Slater and Kurt Hawkins match was better than that match. And you barely saw the Heath Slater and Kurt Hawkins match.
Yeah. And I feel sorry for Heath Slater, though.
Yeah, I think they were trying to make a point like what's going on backstage is so important that we have to put somebody in the ring just to keep the audience. I think that's what was going on. But the Enzo and Cass match, like I said, it was just that. Wasn't happy about that at all. I didn't get the point of it. It made no sense. So, yeah. There's a reason I left it out.
Yeah, it was just basically just Cass throwing Enzo around. I don't even think Enzo did one thing in that match.
Here's what I'm afraid of here. So, Cass and Enzo are a good team. Everybody here agrees that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So, let's think about the tag. And to me, and I've talked to you about this. To you. They're a great team. But so was Crime Time. And then they broke Crime Time up. And then one went to the mid-card and the other went to Superstars. And then that other one kind of sank to the bottom because he couldn't survive without a tag team partner. I'm not going to call names. Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels, we all know the story on that one. There's a lot of tag teams that broke up and didn't really survive. You got the Bubba Ray and Devon, or the Bully Ray in this case, where Bully kind of went up to the top and one kind of sank to the bottom. Now, granted, Bully Ray did do better than most people, but my point is, where is this going to put these two people? We're going to put like Enzo on the cruiserweight circuit, maybe. Like what does he have to give to make a good show? What does Cass have to give to make a good show?
Yeah, I mean, Cass, I will say, his promo he did Monday was, I watched the clip because I missed that part. It was pretty good, but I'm like you, like, where does he go from there? I just don't see like Cass without Enzo. I don't know. I don't see where they're gonna go with this.
So we're going to wrap this segment up. In the next segment, we're going to wrap up the show. We're going to break down some of the news segments, some of the news that happened this week, starting with Kurt Angle's love triangle, Dixie Carter being on WWE TV. That was interesting. And also we're going to go over that issue in the airport with Paige and Alberto Del Rio. We'll get in all that and a little bit more right after this break.
Hey, you guys, welcome back. I just want to remind y'all to follow us on all of our social media. Follow us on Podomatic. Download our podcast. The website is letsbehonest01.podomatic.com. Hit us up on Twitter at letsbehonest89, Facebook at letsbehonest01, Instagram at lets_be_honest_podcast. Also, we have a couple of videos on YouTube. You can do a little search and type in "Let's Be Honest" with Derek and Corey. Also, we put our podcast on iTunes and Google Play. All you have to do again is do a search. Let's be honest with Derek and Corey, and boom.
I also want to remind you that on Google and iTunes and also Podomatic, that if you subscribe to the show, you can the podcast automatically downloads to whatever device you're listening to, whether it's iPhone, whether it's Android, whether it's a tablet, whether it's an iPad, no matter what. If you subscribe on Google, iTunes, Podomatic, it automatically downloads every week that it drops, which is on Friday. Mm-hmm. It drops on Friday, so if you subscribe on any of those places, it will automatically download. One less thing you got to do. Once it downloads, you click, you listen, you go back, you rate, you review, you comment, you suggest, whatever. Easier for you. Also, something that we haven't really talked about here lately is over the past couple of weeks since we started back was the Amazon. We haven't really said anything about it, but always remember that no matter what, on our podcasting website, you can go to the bottom right side of the screen and click on that Amazon banner. That Amazon banner allows you to pretty much, it doesn't charge you anything extra. It allows you to go there and buy things, whatever you want to do. Like if you want to buy a whatever, you just click on it and it'll take you right to it. It doesn't cost you anything extra, no extra hidden charges, anything. It's just you click on it, it kind of kicks back some things to the show. So just you could even favorite it. That way you won't have to go to the page all the time and click on it. So that's a little key reminders there. Anyway, starting to wrap up the show here. We've kind of went over a couple things. Want to kind of go over the news, this little area of the show. We're going to go over the news kind of. Corey and I are going to kick some things around. Kind of like, well, there was a segue there, but I don't think that was a good place to put a segue. I said kick things around. There was an issue in the airport apparently with Alberto Del Rio and Paige. Corey, you heard anything about that?
Oh yeah, I was actually reading something about it earlier today.
What'd you got? What'd you get?
The Paige apparently released a detailed statement about the incident, claiming that she was the one who was being investigated, and she was the one who threw the beer at Alberto Del Rio because of something he said. It went into a little bit more detail, but basically she was saying somebody was invading their privacy and was filming them without their consent or something she was talking about. Basically, the story got twisted around with what she was trying to say.
Well, I will say this, that on her personal Twitter, she did post on her personal Twitter. I don't know if it's still up or not, and to me, you can find that out. But on her personal Twitter, she said that she was upset because of some family issues, and I don't know the word for it, and to me, I'll find that out. But she said that she was upset about some family things, so that's why she was crying. Pretty much saying that nothing happened. Somebody did invade their space.
She tried to excuses. That's all she doing.
The lady was trying to record. She was, like you said, Corey, in their personal space. But she said that it was the person that invaded on them. So it's a little confusing. This situation is a little awkward. I'm not sure what's going on, because if you look at a couple different sites, a couple different things say, and we only kind of use the most popular, well-known, well-trusted resources. And some of the resources say different things. Some of the resources says that Paige was the aggressor. Some say that Del Rio was the aggressor, but none that point to a civilian. Yeah. So Paige is the only one that's saying it was a civilian. So the question here is, do we go from the word of the person or do we go from the word of everybody else? Because no matter what, everybody else's word, even though they weren't there, everything points to something that was going on between them.
Yeah, this is not the first time they've had an incident, I guess.
So I'm not going to
I
get too in
found the
depth.
tweet. She said, "We got the cops involved. I'm crying because I found out bad family news and a lady tries to take a picture. She gets angry and throws a drink on Alberto. And then, after making a post about her sick uncle, she finally tries to clear it up and writes this full on letter about the incident, saying Alberto didn't want her to say the full story because he didn't want people to know, and that she didn't want people to know that I threw a drink on him. But the full story is I had a phone call saying something about his uncle, her uncle, I mean. Yeah, so
So it goes on, and no matter
why she
what,
didn't say that in the first place?
no
And
matter
then,
what, there's apparently an issue here. There's a lot of questions that I posed, and none that I'll pose here. But I will ask this: if we remember, there was an issue where WWE didn't want the two dating. So the question
Yeah.
is this part of the reason why? If these statements are true, and I have no idea if they are, but if these statements are true, is this part of the reason why they didn't want this to happen? Go ahead, Corey.
I was going to say, the Real's also been blasting WWE on Twitter, and also I don't know if we talked about it now, but that at the one of the TNA events, he was trying to blast WWE, and they kept playing his music louder and louder. Now, Paige technically is still like on the contract with WWE, and that won't look too. They probably won't look too good under her, because she's with WWE, and he's talking all this he's saying all these things about WWE.
You know,
to the point where even
go ahead, Corey. Go ahead.
to the point where even TNA or Impact, wherever they call themselves now, to the point where even they can't deal with it anymore, because they was, like I was saying, they was trying to tune him out, and he eventually gave it up after he couldn't say anything else.
They've actually, and this was as of here we're recording the podcast at around 8 or 9 o'clock. About 3 hours ago, GFW, who you were referring to, GFW actually has suspended him. So he is actually suspended for this incident, which goes to show you that if it was civilian that caused this issue, then he wouldn't have been suspended because he wasn't the aggressor. But in this case, that means that GFW knows something that apparently the world doesn't. Now, if they have issues, that's their own personal business. But the fact of the matter is that they were in public, and he is the champion. Actually, he's the GFW champion. He's that head guy coming off of that Slammiversary win against Bobby. He's the head guy now. He's in charge. So I don't really. The question is, how does this affect GFW now? So you just got your feet up on you. You just replaced that TNA logo with a GFW logo. You have a champion. You say this is the man who's going to lead us into the new GFW. How does this affect you now? Or does it affect you at all? Do you name a new champion? Do you let him remain champion? What do you do now? Because clearly you can't have a champion who is having these kinds of issues. And this is certainly not the first time that this has happened. We're talking about stabbings. We're talking about bar fights. We're talking about being held at gunpoint. So there's an issue here. So how long do you let this person, and he is a good wrestler, he is a good performer, but keep in mind that you have kids watching these performers.
Yeah.
How do you what do you do from here? How do you go on from here, Corey?
I mean, honestly, like, I think Aries, he's self-destructing himself because, he's already, I think he's probably already out himself from WWE from anytime soon. After they took him back, and now this whole issue with GFW, he's burning a lot of bridges here. He's gonna probably be to the point where nobody wants to work with him because of all these issues and all these incidents that's been going on. It kind of makes you wonder, was WWE aware of some of these incidents, or did he do some of the stuff beforehand? And which probably the reason why they didn't want to push him that much. And now he's doing all this in GFW. So I don't think he's burning a lot of bridges right now. At least in my opinion,
So, but the problem is here that he is the champion. So, what do you do with a champion like this?
I think the thing is they're gonna probably have to just. Well, before they say strip the title, they did say they were going to conduct their own investigation of the matter, which is probably why they haven't stripped them just yet, because they're. I'm assuming they're trying to get all the facts in before they take action.
And that I can kind of understand, but I like I said, I will tell you this: he's had a future. He's had a past. He's really had a past. He put out a report not too long ago that said that he planned on retiring somewhere between 3 to 6 years. I can almost guarantee you he's probably not going to make it till then. Not with GFW, and damn sure not with WWE. And so the other question on the other side of the hand is about Paige, because when Paige she has a neck injury, and she's been out with this neck injury for like 2 or 3 years now, right? And then you have the video situation, and now you have this where she's clinging and hanging on to Del Rio, who is having these issues. Why is she still on the WWE roster?
That's what I was thinking myself. Like, that's what I was thinking, because, like, does she still have some? How much time does she have left for a contract? Like, are they just waiting for her contract to expire, or they just wait for it to expire and not renew? Because I mean, it seems like they don't want to like release her or so, just in case we like fall back on them. It seems like to me they're trying to wait for her contract to run out and then just renew it.
I mean, she's been out for like what 2 or 3 years by now. I mean, unless she's signing a 5-year deal, which I clearly highly doubt. I mean, 3 years, that's a contract term. I mean, even Austin Aries' contract was for 3 years, and he only served 1. So, yeah. I mean, at this point, she clearly isn't having a neck injury anymore. So,
not to mention, I think did they clear her?
She's been cleared already. She's been cleared. Go ahead. Go ahead. She's been cleared already.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think she was cleared. Is that WWE don't have any like interest in bringing her back anytime soon.
So at this point, you would just cut her loose.
I would probably say it'd probably be best if they just do cut her loose.
I literally don't see any place where you can bring her back. Now, there was a thing going around that she was supposed to come back and wind up on SmackDown and then kind of, go up for the MITB, the Money in the Bank briefcase situation when they had that rematch. But they wound up debuting Maria that same week. There was that rumor, but I highly doubted it was going to happen. So clearly, there's no room for her in the new WWE. Clearly,
Yeah, because
Triple H is not going to let her in the new NXT. She's definitely not going to be in that Mae Young Classic.
oh yeah,
So we all know that's not going to happen. I know Stephanie will have no part in that. So because you can't put her anywhere without looking at her as what she's done over the past 2 or 3 years. So what do you do? I mean, clearly they
yeah,
should have released her by now.
yeah. And as you mentioned, there's that whole like movie Fighting with My Family being produced by The Rock. I'm thinking that's probably why they haven't cut her completely off yet, because I think they've already started filming it. They shot a couple of segments with the actress portraying Paige.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard about that. And I'm interested in seeing. I just hope they don't have this part of Paige involved in it, because
Yeah,
this part is just it's kind of hard to watch at this point. It's kind of
yeah,
cringeworthy.
I mean, it's kind of sad to see, because she's talented, but she's still young and she's making a lot of mistakes right now. Hopefully, I think it'd probably best, once this whole thing like there's the WWE just go on and cut ties with her, let her I say mature a little bit, clear her head, and then maybe somewhere along the line I guess you could say a little bit more. Oh, go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
They say she's a little bit more mature, then maybe they can try her back, because I mean, WWE, they deal with like women's wrestlers with controversy in the past. Of course, we all know about the whole Lita incident. I don't think it's gonna be as like it is debatable if it's as extreme as the one Paige is in right now. And then of course, well, I don't know about that one, but it's like I was saying, maybe it's best is Paige and WWE cut ties with each other for a couple of years. Let Paige clear her head, maybe wrestle outside of WWE, rest up, heal up, and then maybe try it again. But she really needs to like get away from Del Rio, because I think Del Rio is probably corrupting her, poisoning her mind.
That's kind of actually what I was kind of going to get into, and I want to kind of wrap this up because I don't want to spend the rest of the show talking about it. But that's kind of what I was going to get into, because right now at this particular age, it's influence, and I mean, you're shaped at this point. Now, we were talking about WWE cutting ties and maybe bringing her in when she's more mature. I don't think that's actually I don't think that's going to work too well, especially being the fact that she's been wrestling since she was, what are we talking, like 11, 9, 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there. She's been wrestling for a while. So I mean, this neck injury compacted with all the other stuff that she had going on that we never knew about, I don't think so. If WWE lets her go now, I don't think 4 or 5 years down the road, when maturity kind of hits at 27, 28, only in her 30s, I don't think that, I mean, by the time she hits her 30s, she's going to be wrestling for 20 years. I don't think,
Oh yeah.
I don't think that's going to be a good time to bring somebody back in, especially whatever injuries that she has. Plus, being the fact that I don't think she's going to wind up going anywhere else. I think unless GFW takes her back, depending on what happens with Del Rio, I don't think there's anywhere for her to go. I don't think they'll take her back.
Yeah, I don't think GFW will probably want to deal with her after this Del Rio incident, or at least after this Del Rio incident gets settled and everything.
Another interesting situation right now is the fact that Dixie Carter was on WWE TV, more specifically WWE Network. Haven't seen the network special. I'm planning on actually watching it here tomorrow as the podcast is edited. I'm planning on watching it then. But seeing the kind of like the previews of it, I've seen like 4 or 5 different previews of the special. I think it's Homecoming, Kurt Angle, and any second that you see the former owner of a rival, actually, I don't even know if that's a rival. I don't even know if TNA at that point was considered a rival. But anytime that you can see that, there's something, they're just not there just to be there. I can tell you that. All signs are pointing to something that I'm gonna say it after Corey gives his opinion. But we're in Nashville next week, or we're in Nashville this Monday. As we record this podcast, it's this Monday. We're in Nashville. Dixie Carter is on that Homecoming special, and Kurt Angle is on the phone saying, "I love you." This could ruin my marriage. This might ruin my career. I'm gonna let you say, and then I'll tell you what I think. Go ahead, Corey.
I think it's just coincidence. I don't really see like Dixie Carter like coming to WWE and being a storyline of Kurt Angle. It's just we've had similar like coincidences in the past, and they never really like turned up like the rumors were saying it would be. I think it's just coincidence. This is just, like they're in Nashville. She lives in Nashville. I think that the most she was doing the network special with Kurt Angle and everything. I don't really see her. I mean, in my opinion, I don't really see her like popping up on the WWE. I think it's probably gonna be something dealing with Stephanie.
That part I have actually, I've kind of gotten that part too because I've had a discussion with other people, and that part I have heard too. As far as Stephanie, I've also heard the Triple H theory. So I'll kind of say how I feel about this. So with everything kind of going on here, I think there may be, and I'm putting myself on the line here because it's a 50-50. Or maybe like a 90-10, whoever you are, however you look at it. I kind of think it is Dixie. Clearly, this is why your marriage is going to be on the line. You hope your kids forgive you. And clearly, how it will put your career on the line is because you are dating a former rival. Now, the question is, with TNA being dead, will WWE reference TNA?
Well,
interesting question.
Very interesting.
Because I find this interesting. The Kevin Owens story is about to come out Monday. I think they're going to do first look. Actually, I think they got first look now. Kevin Owens' story is about to come out, and they have some videos from Ring of Honor. Is WWE reaching out? Are they finally reaching that branch out into other companies so they can be that open company that Vince always wanted?
I don't want to say so, but they did something similar with CM Punk, I believe, when they did his DVD set. I think it was somebody else they did. I can't remember the name though, but they did something similar with CM Punk.
So you're thinking maybe it's just for video package reasons why they didn't.
Yeah, I think it's going to be just video package reasons.
Now, I will say the other side of it is the side where there's something going on with Stephanie, like you said, and that will prompt the reason why we've been getting Kurt Angle wrestling signals left and right here. Maybe Triple H versus Kurt Angle at SummerSlam or WrestleMania. So that's a big conversation that I've had with people. Is that what you were kind of pointing at earlier?
Yeah. Because I think there was some rumors going around about Kurt Angle possibly having a match with Triple H.
Yeah. The last thing we're going to talk about today is apparently somebody is running for president, maybe? You know what I'm talking about?
No Rock. Yeah, The Rock.
Have you seen that article yet, Tamia?
Mm-mm.
So apparently, somebody filed a junction or whatever that is, pretty much prepping The Rock to be in the next election cycle. Interesting. Don't think it's going to happen though. Don't think it's going to happen. Don't think it's any kind of realistic. Think it's a rumor. I think we need to make that a part of the show. Rumor or not a rumor. Because
I was going wrong, so I gotta say it now. I can see like Kane maybe doing, because Kane, right now Kane's running for mayor, and I think he has like political ties to political organizations and organizations in tour with the governor. I don't see The Rock. I don't see The Rock running for president.
yeah, I don't see that happening either. I don't see it happening. I don't see it being close to happening. I don't even see him looking at even being in a primary. I know he was on a late night show he was on a late night show on some channel that starts with N and ends with C, where he said that he was going to possibly run. He's thinking about it. I don't believe it. Not that The Rock needs speak English, a publicity stunt. Thanks, guys, for helping me with that. Great teamwork. Not that he needs a this is a stunt. Not that this is a stunt, because I can't say that word apparently. Not that this is a publicity stunt, but I just feel like it's just a bunch of rumors that build up. You know, they feel like we have the president who's the president now, so anybody can be president.
Yeah.
So I don't think anything's coming out of that. Any other news that I skipped over, missed, didn't look at? Nobody has anything?
Mm-mm.
All right, we've run over a lot. We went over that Alberto situation, The Rock. Talked about Great Balls of Fire. Talked about Austin Aries being released. Talked about the Hardys, who are possibly going to be broken. Hopefully, we'll see that in WWE, because Matt's kind of hinted at some brilliance, or some broken brilliance anyway. So, looking forward to seeing that. But anyway, we had a good show. It's been a long week. Next week, we will get into more in depth into Raw. I know we didn't get to talk about Raw and SmackDown, but I am about to record a video. We're going to get that posted up on YouTube. So by the time this podcast drop, I will post that video on Friday as well. So for Tamia and for Corey, I'm Derek. You've been listening to Let's Be Honest. We'll see you next week.